After the death of the prophet Elisha, we enter the period of the final reign of the kings of Israel. We left off with Elisha's final message to King Jehoash, and how God was still compassionate towards his sinful people for the sake of his covenant with Abraham. After Jehoash came King Jeroboam II. He reigned for 41 years, and he was bad. After Jeroboam II came Zechariah. He reigned for 6 months, and he was also bad. And he was assassinated by a guy named Shallum, and Shallum took over as king, and he was also bad. He reigned for about a month until he was assassinated by a guy named Menahem, and then Menahem took over as king. Menahem reigned for 10 years, and he was bad too. During his reign, Israel became a vassal to the Assyrian Empire. After Menahem came Pekahiah. He reigned for 2 years, and you guessed it, he was bad. He was assassinated by a guy named Pekah, and then Pekah took over as king of Israel. Pekah reigned for 29 years, and he was bad too. During Pekah's reign, Tiglath-Pileser, the king of Assyria, invaded Israel and took many cities, including all of the territories of Gilead and Naphtali, and Tiglath-Pileser deported many Israelites to Assyria. Pekah was eventually assassinated by a guy named Hoshea, and Hoshea took over as king of Israel, and he was Israel's last king. He reigned for 9 years, and yep, he was bad too. During his reign, Israel was still a vassal state to the Assyrians, but Hoshea was an idiot and he refused to pay tribute to the king of Assyria, and he even made an alliance with King So, the pharaoh of Egypt, a personal enemy of the Assyrian king. And so Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, attacked Israel, and he put Hoshea in prison, and the Assyrians invaded the entire land and laid siege to it for 3 years. Shalmaneser deported all the Israelites to places in Assyria, Hola, Gozan, and Media, and the text says that all this took place because the Israelites had sinned against the Lord their God, who had brought them up out of Egypt from under the power of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. The Lord warned Israel and Judah through all his prophets, but they would not listen, and were as stiff-necked as their ancestors who did not trust in the Lord their God. They made golden calves to worship, but they worshipped all the starry host. They worshipped Baal. They sacrificed their sons and daughters in the fire. They practiced divination. Therefore the Lord rejected all the people of Israel. He afflicted them and gave them into the hands of plunderers, until he thrust them from his presence. So the people of Israel were taken from their homeland into exile in Assyria, and they are still there. The text also says that the king of Assyria brought people from places in Babylon, Cutha, Ava, Hamath, and Sepharvaim, and settled them in the towns of Samaria to replace the Israelites. But God sent lions to attack the people who had replaced Israel because of the evil things that they did. And so the king of Assyria sent back one of the captive Israelite priests to teach the new people in the land how to worship the God of that land. And the people, who came to be known as Samaritans, worshipped Yahweh, but they also worshipped other gods, and they continued to sacrifice their children in the fire. We'll learn more about the Samaritans when they interact with Jesus in the New Testament. And so we come to the end of Israel, with all of the northern tribes being deported to Assyria. For the most part, they never came back.